हरि ओम। ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शंकरं लोकशंकरम्। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम। One of the most difficult thing to digest is the fact that Brahma Sutra wants to establish, and the fact is the entire world, Jagat, is mithya. Our own existence, our daily life is full of activity immersed in something which is now to be proved as false. I have been around as Mr. So and so. I'm interacting with everyone. I am conducting a satsang. We are participating in listening and understanding a scripture called Brahma Sutra, and all this is false. There is a very mystical couplet by Kabir Maharaj. He says, Ram Niranjana Nyara Re, the truth, Ram, the real Ram, not Dasharathi Rama, the real Rama, Ram Niranjana Nyara Re, Anjana Sakala Pasara Re. The entire creation is falsifying the things. Anjana Bani, the speech is unreal. Anjana Ved, even the Vedas are unreal. Anjana Kiya Nana Bhed. Not only that, Anjana Brahma, Anjana Vishnu, Anjana Gopi Sangu Govindure, Rama Niranjana Nyarare. What he is trying to emphasize is all that you see in this creation, right from the gods up to the lowest of the creature, everything has no existence. In fact, some of the rishis go a step forward and say Where is the question of existence? It never existed. The world has not happened. Now, what a contrast that we are going to face. We, the people who are convinced about the presence of the world, are being told that all that you are believed and going to believe is false.
Sorry to Sanjay, sorry to interrupt you. Can you straighten your image, please? It looks upside down.
I'm sorry, because for the recording, they wanted to have it. Is it okay now?
Sanjay, just turn the camera once more. Just
Okay.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is fine.
Fine.
So the creation, if it is such a false thing, how is it that I, as a constituent of this creation, never ever even have an iota of doubt about it? Why am I calling a woman a woman? Why am I calling a mountain a mountain? I don't feel that mountain, women, water, stone, me, all are one, or all are not existing. Existence, astitva, is felt every day. And if the world is false, according to the Rishis, then whatever is created in this world is also false. If the dream is false, then the fall from the cliff in the dream is bound to be false, which means the world that I stay in, if it is false, then all the things that are produced in this world, the main two, sukham and dukkham, are false. I am completely aware of happiness and sorrow, because every day I clamor for happiness, I avoid the sorrow. Tiraskrutya for the dukkham, and anukula for the sukham. That is what we try to live our life. But the fact is, both these emotions, for that matter, all the emotions, but both these outcomes, both these responses are also false, because you are false. World is false. Now, how can I be false? How can world be false? Because if I am false, mithya, if the world is false, mithya, then the interaction between the two is also mithya. So, vyavahar is mithya. All the transactions in this transactionary world are mithya, false. The wonderful and the basic question is, how can you call something false which is so real and helping me to carry on? The birth, the body, the disease, the hospital, the doctor, the death, how can all be false? And that is where the concept of adhyasa has been brought by Acharya. An extremely daunting task of proving that the world, how it is false. It is a daunting task, because you are trying to prove the world as false by staying in the world only. A dream can be said to be false because when you are awake, you are in a separate state. In the awakened state, Jagrut Avastha, we can say that the dream is false. And everybody agrees to that, because there is a change in state. Now, all of us, suddenly, if we become Brahmadnyani, then this session is not required. Brahma Sutra book is not required, because all will realize that the world is false. But to prove that the world is false by not realizing the Brahman, that means staying in the Vyavaharika Vishwa, Vyavaharika Satta, and yet proving that it is false is a daunting task. That is why Brahma Sutra is considered to be an apex book in Prasthantraya. And the only way for us to find out that the world is false is by taking recourse to the logic. That is why it is called Tarka Prasthan. You have to resort to the logic. Logic is the most refined ability of intellect. Intelligence, which is our buddhi, the only instrument with which we can dissect the things around us to understand them in the form of their nature, and the instrument used by buddhi to dissect the world around us, to know the nature of the world, is tarka. So first thing that Acharya realized this daunting task, the first thing that came forward is the concept of adhyasa. Adhyasa. And the word another which he used is mithya. Both the words needs to be understood in its right spirit to understand Shankaracharya's stand. If we go tomorrow and talk to anybody who has not been introduced to any of the Hindu scriptures or any of the Indian philosophies, and if we tell them that all this is false, he will say that you need to get admitted somewhere in the psychiatric ward. But because how can you call this false? That is why Acharya did not use the word asatya. Asatya is never present. The son of a barren woman is asatya. It is never present. It was never present. It is not present. It will not be present. So it is trikala abadita asatya. It is asatya, absolute non-truth. Opposite of that is satya. It is a truth in all the kala, trikala abadita satya. When there is prakasha, the darkness cannot stay there. Trikala abhadita satya. So we have one extreme position of asatya, one extreme position of satya, and there is a middle position which Acharya came forward with, which is called mithyatva. A mithyatva would mean it appears true at the moment, but at a right moment, it will appear false. For the child, when he takes a plastic thing in the hand and puts it in the mouth to eat, he feels it is something worth eating. So it is true as a substance to eat. It is an eatable at the stage of an infant. When he grows up, he comes to know that it is plastic, it cannot be eaten. What happened was, it was truth because of limitations of the childhood, and it became untruth, or the truth emerged only when the child grew. In other words, in a particular state, a mithya would appear to be true, but would definitely get sublated as untruth in a different state. Such a thing is called mithya. The word myth in English has come from the same mithya. Myth appears to be true. Ultimately, it is not true. So all of us, what we believe in this world and do the transactions accordingly are all true till the time we realize that these transactions as well as this world is false in a different state. Acharya called these states as satta. One is called pratibhasika satta. Pratibhasika satta. In dream, there is a satta, truth, as long as the dream continues. The dream is over, the satya comes out that it was a false thing that I was watching. Then comes vyavaharika satta, that is our world, transactory world. It appears absolutely true till we graduate from this vyavaharika satta to the next satta called paramarthika satta. In paramarthik satta, the world gets sublated. Dream gets sublated by vyavaharika satta. So swapnavastha gets sublated by vyavaharika satta. Vyavaharika satta gets sublated by paramarthik satta. Now we know for sure what is swapna satta or pratibhasik satta because every day we see dream. We know what is vyavaharika satta, but we have no experience of vyavaharika satta being sublated because we have not yet reached the paramarthika satta. So this is Sattatraya Siddhanta of Acharya. He also explained the concept of mithya. Now he is going to come with an explanation as to how, if the truth is Brahma, then on the Brahma, the mithya world, how does it stay? Unreal and real, they have come together. Not only they have come together, we cannot distinguish between them. So there is a superimposition of one upon another. Superimposition of one upon another is called adhyasa. So adhyasa means nothing else but having a real thing called A gets superimposed by another thing called B, and then the A is completely masked or covered. Only B's attributes or B, substance B, is thought to be as A. There is a rope lying in the semi-darkness. Because of the paucity of light, manda prakasha, the rope appears like a snake. Now what happened is, rope is the actual truth. Snake is something that gets created upon and it is superimposed on the rope. So then the rope is completely out of the vision of this gentleman. He thinks that which is not there, that means the snake, sarpa, is the reality, and not only he thinks that it is a reality, but he acts accordingly. He gets frightened, he tries to run away, he starts sweating, he imagines a lot of things. So there are two aspects to the whole thing. One, there has to be a rope, otherwise the sarpa cannot be there. If the rope itself is not lying there, you will not imagine the sarpa. That means there has to be an adhisthana, the base on which another thing gets superimposed is called adhisthana. What appears on that adhisthana is called adhyastha or aropita vastu. Sarpa is adhyastha or aropita vastu on the adhishthana called the rope. So we have rope, adhishthana, sarpa, adhyastha. In comparison, we have Brahma, adhishthana, and the Vishwa or the Jagat as the sarpa. One basic understanding from this example or the analogy, the famous analogy of Vedanta, is that because we do not know the real nature of the rope and we consider the rope as the snake, all the actions, thoughts, activities, all are happening because we call it as a snake. Similarly, because the knowledge of Brahma is not there, we consider the world to be real, and because it is considered as a real, we act accordingly, such as the birth, the death, the pain, the happiness, the vikara, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, matsara, yasha, satta, kirti, sampatti, pratishtha, all are derived thing. They are not original thing. They are derived thing because I feel that the world is real. I am afraid, I am sweating, I must run away, I have to get a stick to kill the snake. All this happened because I thought, not only I thought, I felt the snake on the rope. This superimposition of that which is not there on something that which is there is called adhyasa or Brahma. Now the question comes, why this adhyasa is there? On the rope and the sarpa, I can understand it is because of the bad light. Manda prakasha, that is why it looks like a snake. So manda prakasha is one of the reasons why this is happening. So the reason why rope appears as snake is manda prakasha. But what is the reason why world appears on Brahman? I'm again and again using the word appear. Appear because we have already seen what is a vivarta. It is not a parinama. Otherwise, I would have used the word, the rope has become the sarpa. No. Rope appears like a sarpa. Vivarta. Vivarta when two substances having opposite upadana karan and viparita rupa. Viparita swabhava, viparita rupa is vivarta. Brahma is completely diametrically opposite to the world. So viparita swabhava. And a roop also is viparita. Brahma has no rupa, world has a rupa, and yet they appear together. That is called a vivarta. The silver and the shukti, the nacre, they are completely different. But they appear as if the silver is lying there. Appearance. So world is an appearance. Brahma is completely different, diametrically opposite. World is diametrically opposite. But they appear as one. That is why it is called vivarta. Now, by presuming this vivarta, what happens? By presuming the vivarta, adhyasa, two things happen. One is called tadatmya adhyasa. Tadatmya, tad atman. I am that. Tadatmya adhyasa. Now, what is the tadatmya adhyasa? I am Atman or Brahma. I am Atma, Brahma. I am the Brahma. It is the truth according to the acharyas. We have no experience. However, if I am asked, who are you? I will immediately say, I am so-and-so, Dr. So-and-so. That means I identify myself with my body. If this body is not there, to whom will you call Dr. So-and-so? And when this body is gone, the person who says I am so-and-so is also gone. That means till the time of my death, I continue to call this body. The whole identification of me in this world is my body. Just take away the body and try talking whatever you talk. I have a house. Immediately the question comes, who? Who means what? Me. Me means what? This body. I was sleeping. Who? This was sleeping. This means what? This body was sleeping. What it means is, I am the body is my basic fundamental superimposition. I am Brahma. We are yet to see that. Let us see the error first. Truth we will see later. So first thing, because of superimposition, what has come to me as a fundamental error of adhyasa is tadatmya adhyas. I am that. I am the body. This is called tadatmya adhyas. And once I am the body comes into the picture, then immediately after that what follows is, this is mine, she is my wife, he is my son, that is my car, this is my office. This is called sansarga adhyasa. If I am not the body, then I can't have a wife. I can't have a child. That means adhyasa or the Brahma or the Bhranti or the falsity or the perceptual error led to two complications. One, wrong identification with the body, tadatmya adhyas, and that which is connected to the body by mutual contact called sansarga adhyas. So the whole world, whatever is there other than me, is a sansarga adhyas for me. So what is in our mind the normal concept of our presence? I at the center as my body, tadatmya adhyas, and the entire world is connected to me by sansarga adhyasa. Not a very difficult thing to understand. Why these are important is, through the bhashya of Brahma Sutra and Brahma Sutra itself, Acharya is trying to prove the point that this is an adhyas, this is an superimposition, this is not your true nature, this is a falsity. And to prove that falsity, Brahma Sutra is there. That is why as a upodghat, as a preface, Acharya has taken adhyasa bhashya. He is commenting on adhyas or superimposition because he wants us to go through this study to the first sutra. In fact, he says at the end of adhyasa bhashya is, my aim is to prove this adhyasa through this Brahma Sutra. That is why it is important to know what adhyasa is. This is all preparatory ground prepared by Acharya himself for the understanding of Brahma Sutra when the first sutra starts. Now the question comes, everything has a lakshana. Lakshana means attribute. Everything has a lakshana. You take any substance, take gold for that matter. And gold has certain lakshana. It is yellow in color. It is malleable, right? So that means everything gets identified by its attributes or its virtues or its qualities or its dharma. Dharma, not a religion. Dharma as an attribute. Dharma is a very wide word in Sanskrit. Here, the dharma that we are talking about is basically in the form of attributes. So everything that is there in this world has to be described in the form of attributes. Attribute-less is Brahman. We are not talking about it now. We are first talking about this adhyasa. First of all, adhyasa is not something concrete as an object which can be seen in pratyaksha parinam. Oh, that is the adhyasa in front of the table or lying on the table in front of me. No. Adhyasa is a mental construct. Even then, every mental construct has some qualities, some attributes. So what is the nature? What is the attribute? What is the identifying character of this adhyasa? For the gold, we say that if you find something which is yellow in color, shining, malleable, melting at so and so temperature, and it is used as an ornament by the ladies, etc., that is gold. So what is happening? The gold is described through different lakshana. Similarly, adhyasa also needs to be defined through certain lakshana. And whenever you want to define a lakshana of any substance, the lakshanas can be only three. One is called Vyatireka Lakshana. What is Vyatireka Lakshana? A mobile phone and a wristwatch, they are completely different. This is Vyatireka Lakshana. That this is not that. Vyatireka Lakshana. You have two things for comparison, and two are entirely different, then we can say that there is a Vyatireka Lakshana. Adhyasa doesn't have a Vyatireka Lakshana because like Adhyasa, what is there? No, Adhyasa is only one. The misunderstanding is of only one and fundamental type. Then the remaining two Lakshanas are the critical Lakshanas to know the nature of Adhyasa. Again, we are trying to see the nature of the superimposition of the world on the truth called Brahma, never to be forgotten. The two important lakshanas used for this substance or adhyasa is Swarupa Lakshana and Tatastha Lakshana. What is a Swarupa Lakshana? The Swarupa Lakshana is that which is inherent in that particular thing, and if that is taken away, nothing remains of that substance. For example, malleability of gold, Swarupa Lakshana. Five feet 3 inches is the height of XYZ, Swarupa Lakshana. And the other is called Tatastha Lakshana. What is Tatastha Lakshana? Tatastha Lakshana is not intrinsic, but it is existing in that thing for the time being. Commonly given example in Granthas is, if an house of Devadatta is to be identified, the house on which the crow is sitting is Devadatta's house, is a Tatastha Lakshana, because the crow may fly away also. It is not intrinsic to that particular thing. A person who is wearing pinkish shirt is Mr. Pradeep Kumar. is a tatastha, is a tatastha lakshana. Tatastha means, tata means bank. The river has a bank. Anything on the bank can be swept away by the stream of the water anytime. So it is called tatastha, that which stays on the bank. Non-inherent. So we have what is called as a swarupa lakshana, intrinsic nature, which cannot be taken away, or which is the most important lakshana of that particular thing, and tatastha lakshana, the additional extra accessorious attributes which will be there, which may not be there. That means we have to now see what is the swarupa lakshana of adhyasa. Meaning what? We need to see what is precisely the nature of this superimposition or adhyasa. What we call as falsity of not being the world, actual being Brahman. What is the nature of this adhyasa? And that is where what we get in our hand is the definition of adhyasa given in Adhyasa Bhashya by Shankaracharya. And the definition given there of adhyasa is nothing else but the swarupa lakshana of adhyasa. And the definition of adhyasa, vyakhya of adhyasa given by Acharya is smruti rupaha paratra drushti avabhasaha iti adhyasa. Adhyasa means smruti rupaha paratra purva drushta avabhasaha. Now we will see each of these parts of this definition of the statement, because this is the statement which gives us nature of the adhyasa, nature of the superimposition, nature of the sarpa on the rajju, nature of the world on the Brahma. First is purva drushta. Purva drushta. What is purva drushta? That which is previously perceived. That which is previously perceived, previously seen. Purva drushta. That which is seen earlier, previously perceived. Avabhasa. What is avabhasa? Avabhasa means that which is condemnable, which is not true. It is tyajya, tiraskrutya, amanya, avamata, avasanna, avabhasa. Unreal manifestation. Unreal manifestation. So purva drushta, previously perceived. Avabhasa, unreal manifestation. Smruti means smaran, memory. Smruti rupa, that means that which resembles what is there in the memory. That which resembles what is in the memory is called smruti rupa. And paratra, on something else. So purva drushta, avabhasa, smruti rupa, paratra. These are the words. Smruti rupaha, paratra drushti avabhasaha adhyasaha. The complete definition will be unreal manifestation of something. Each word is important. Unreal manifestation of something previously perceived, and which is of the nature of remembrance appearing on something else. So adhyasa means memory, purva smruti rupa, purva drushta, that which is perceived earlier, which is seen at some other place and appears to be similar to what is stored in the memory. Paratra drushtava bhasaha. Why Acharya has given such a compact definition with these words? The reason is the daunting task of adhyas is now being taken for dissection. Through the thought process, we are trying to see how I am the body is not the truth, how this world is not the truth. So first of all, in order to call that it is not true, we must know the nature of falsity, nature of adhyasa, nature of Brahma. This avidya, as they call it avidya, what is the nature? Avidya is the cause of this adhyasa. Avidya is the cause of the adhyasa. Adhyasa is karya. But what is this adhyasa precisely is what is being now dissected first through the definition. Now, smruti rupaha paratra društavabhasaha. Mountain was seen earlier. Just for an example, mountain was seen earlier. Now I am seeing the mountain on the water. Of course, mountain cannot be seen on the water, just for the sake of example. Mountain was seen earlier. That means it was purva drushta. It appeared on the water, which is wrong. So it is avabhasa. It is not a truth. It is untruth. So mountain appeared on the water. That time, when I'm looking at the water, the mountain is not there. When I'm looking at the rope, I remember the sarpa, but the sarpa is not there in front of me. Sarpa has come from memory. So paratra, that means instead of snake being seen on actual snake's place, it is seen here on the rope. So this is paratra drushta avabhasa, seeing of a snake where it should not have been seen. That's why the knowledge is tyajya avabhasa. It is tiraskrutya. It is not true. However, from where the sarpa came? The sarpa came from memory. Smruti rupaha. Previously perceived. Stored in the memory. Brought back from the memory. And then imposed on another thing. That is called adhyasa. Each word is important because presently we are talking of mountain, lake, rajju, sarpa, whatever. The same analogy is now going to be extended to the world and the Brahman. So previously perceived smruti rupaha, drushta avabhasaha, it appears as something which is actually condemnable, but it's considered as true. Paratra on something else. Smruti rupaha paratra društavabhasaha, because suppose a person is seen in Delhi and the same person is seen in Bombay, in Mumbai. So a person that was seen in Delhi, when we see him again in Mumbai, how do we know that he is the same person? From this memory only it comes back that, oh, he's the same person. Now this is also avabhasa. This is društavabhasa. But the difference between paratra društavabhasa is same person has come from Delhi to Mumbai is not adhyasa. Some other person I saw in Mumbai and thought the person from Delhi is there in him. That is adhyasa. That is why Acharya has given this definition in this circuitous manner. The two things have to be absolutely different and yet appear as something. I am holding a mobile phone in my hand and I'm seeing a teacup on the top of it. Now, teacup is completely different. Mobile is completely different. But it appears, the mobile appears as teacup. So two different things, upadana viparita svabhavavan. Anyatha rupam. The rope and the snake has got absolutely nothing in common. Snake is something which is moving, which is coiled, which keeps moving, which is poisonous, which can move on its own. Rope cannot move. Rope lies at one place. It is insentient. It cannot move. It doesn't have poison. Completely diametrically opposite. Yet two diametrically opposite things, upadan viparita svabhavavan. Anyatha rupa, rope and snake, rope is completely different. Yet they appear as one simply because of the problem with the prakasha, manda prakasha. Similarly, world is completely different, Brahman is completely different, yet world appears as a reality because of manda prakasha called avidya. That is why the definition given by Acharya is paratra drushtav bhasaha smruti rupaha adhyasaha. Now the question is, why this happens? Agreed. Superimposition has happened. Instead of calling A as A, I started calling it as B. Agreed. But why? Why adhyasa happens? There has to be a reason for it. If you say everybody in this world is falsely believing in the falsity of the world, it seems to be an universal falsity, universal error we are all doing. There has to be a reason for it, why it is happening. And that is where we come to what is called as the Tatastha Lakshana. For the Tatastha Lakshana, we require three things. Dosha Adi Trayajanyatvam Adhyasasya Tatastha Lakshanam. What are the three things required to have Tatastha Lakshana of Adhyasa? Swarupa Lakshan we saw. The inherent nature, cause we saw, that is Swarupa Lakshana. Smruti Rupaha Paratra Drushtava Bhasaha is Swarupa Lakshan. Tatastha Lakshan is because of three things. Dosha, Adi, Trayajanyatva. One is a dosha, another is a sannikarsha, and third is samskar. Now let us see what is dosha. In the art of perception, I am looking at a mountain. So first thing, mountain, second thing, seeing, third thing. These three are must for the action to get completed. The one who is seeing is called a pramatru. Pramatru means the subject. The mountain is called prameya, the object. I am the subject, pramatru. Mountain is the object, prameya. And my seeing is called pramana. Now, if all the three can suffer from some inadequacies or the dosha, that is called dosha traya. For example, the pramatru. Pramatru means subject. If he is under dosha, what are the dosha the subject can get? Bhaya, pramada, Vipralipsa karna patavam. Bhaya, a scared person looks at the thing and says there is a ghost there. It's not there. Because he's under the spell of fear, bhaya, he sees the things differently. So that is a dosha in the subject. It is called pramatru dosha, called Brahma. Pramada is error. There can be error in perception. It is a mirage, looks like a water. There is no water there. Pramada, buddhi can make mistake. Pramatru, subject, can make mistake. Bhaya, pramada, vipralipsa. Vipralipsa means, in simple words, vipralipsa means the Brahman who gets affected by greed. Vipra means the one who is intelligent, knowledgeable. Lipsa means lobha. In other words, when we are subjected to certain vikaras, our buddhi doesn't work properly. For example, a doctor who is practicing, who is only hell-bent on making money, he looks at each patient as an earning opportunity. So he is very keen on diagnosing something serious so that he can extract the money. So what has happened? The actual disease skips his mind, skips his intelligence. This is a dosh in a pramatru because of the lobha. It's called vipralipsa. And karna patavam means the organs may be at fault. Suppose you are blind, you can't see. Karna apatavam. Karna means indriya. Indriya apatavam, non-efficient indriyas. So pramatru dosha means lobha, moha, brahma, the problem with the organs of perception, inability to do work, somebody who doesn't have eyes, somebody who can't hear, or who is very hard of hearing, he may hear something else. So this is a dosha. These are called pramatru dosha. Why we are seeing all these doshas as adhyasa lakshana? We are trying to come to a conclusion that why the hell we think the world is real. Why we are considering the sarpa to be real, not Rajju. So pramatru dosha means subject problems are bhaya, pramada, vipralipsa and karnapata. Prameya dosha. Prameya dosha means that which is to be seen, there can be problems with that also. The object can be, for example, can you and me and everybody see the Andromeda's galaxy? We cannot. I have the eye. There is no karna patava. As a subject, I have eyes. But the problem is the prameya, the vishay is so far off galaxy that my eyes cannot see it. The distance is so. That means there is a prameya dosha. And pramana dosha is the art or the act of seeing also can be in a problem if the instrument of subject-object contact is at fault. For example, I want to see a bacteria under the microscope. So bacteria is prameya. I am seeing it, subject, I am the pramatru. But the pramana, which is microscope through which I am seeing, has a bad lens. I cannot see it. The microscope is not of the proper caliber. I cannot see the bacteria. Pramana dosha. So three doshas are pramatru, prameya, pramana dosha. That means in order to have the adhyasa or the superimposition of the snake on the rope or the world on the Brahman, there could be problem in the prameya, the one who is perceiving pramatru, or the way we are seeing towards the world, that could be also a problem, pramana. our pramanas in this world, which is studied in epistemology, pramana shastra, we have certain pramanas, pratyaksha praman, anuman, arthapatti, upaman. When shabda praman, these are our ways and means of assessing the knowledge. Other than these six, we don't have anything. Anupalabdhi, of all six of them are agreed by Advaita Vedanta. So we have talked about six. Others say 2, 3, 4. Charvak says only one pratyaksha praman. That's a different subject altogether. But through pramanas, we are trying to gain the knowledge. If our knowledge of Brahman, we are not getting Brahman knowledge, that means there must be something which is either not accessible by pramanas, or the pramanas are not applied properly. That is where we are trying to find out what are the reasons, that is the lakshana of adhyasa. Sanskar is another tatastha lakshana, purva jnana sanskar. And some prayoga or sannikarsha is adhishtan, the samanya jnana of adhishtan. Now let's see what this means. When I say there is a rope, there is a snake, the common between these two statements is there is. A snake is a problem, a rope is the truth. A rope and a snake is a problem, understood. But for both there is commonality as there is. That is called idam, idamness. Idam. The reason why I and the Brahman have something which is samanya jnana yukta, vishesha jnana is not there. I, whatever is added after I am Dr. So-and-so, I have a wife, I have a child, have a wife, am doctor, all these are called vishesha jnana. I is common, I is samanya jnana. I means existence, I means I alone. That is common with the Brahman. That means why the snake is seen on the rope only, why not on a tree? Because there is no samanyata between the two. Visheshata is anyway different. A tree is definitely not like a snake. But the rope is like a snake because a rope is also of equal length. It can also be put in a coiled form. That means there are some samana guna, samanata between the two. Visheshata is a problem. What it means is, in the world and the constituents of the world or the jiva, there is some commonality with the Brahman, and there is a difference in the speciality of the two. Visheshatva krute bhinnaha, samanya krute samasama. That is why there is adhyasa, otherwise the adhyasa will not be there. Why would you consider tree as snake? There is no way. Why only rope as snake? Because of partial similarity to the general characteristics of the two. Spatial characteristics are different. That is why there is a confusion. So for the confusion to arise, there must be some similarity. Utter dissimilarity will not create the confusion. That is why sadrushya jnana, leads to arousal of sanskar. It is called udbuddhata of sanskar. And then what is there in the Smriti comes as Adhishthana. The meaning is Sarp Rajju Siddhanta or Shuktika Rajat Siddhanta. In these Siddhantas, Shuktika and Rajat have something in common. That is why Rajat, silver, is seen in the necker. Otherwise, Rajat and Ashmaka, the stone, they are not compared because there is no Samanyata also common in them. That means there is something lying there, rope or snake, I don't know. But there is something is common for both. Even if we suppose we know the rope, we'll say there is something lying there which is rope, or there is something lying there which is snake. Which is rope, which is snake is the Vishesha part, that is the difference. But there is something lying there, idam, that is common. So there is a sadrushyata. That means the aspect of adhyasa that we are discussing now has certain aspects. One, on something, something else appears. Paratra. What appears is false. Avabhasa. Something appears, drushta, on something else, paratra, which is false, avabhasa, and all this happens because of smriti rupaha. That is also important. That which is perceived earlier is now seen erroneously on something where it should not be seen. Purva jagata samskar on the mind makes us believe that the Jagat is true on the Adhishtan of Brahman, although it is false, avabhasa, it is appearing on Brahman. That means it has no its own entity, satta. The world has no satta of itself. It appears on the Brahman, on the rope. That means it is an appearance. So Jagat is an appearance. Brahman is a reality. The appearance and the reality have come together, which is called superimposition of the world on the Brahman. It will continue to remain as long as the Brahman is not realized. Moment the rope is realized as rope, snake is gone. Where did the snake go? It was not there only. Then why it was not seen earlier? Because that time the knowledge of rope was not there. So if the world is appearing, it appeared because of what? Because of the superimposition of an erroneous thing. How do I come to know that this world is false? By knowing the real, the Brahman. When I know the Brahman, where is the world gone? It was not there only. That is why it is not gone. It was not there in the beginning only. Ajatavad. The world has never been there. Because if it had been there, then it must be then lying somewhere. After knowing Brahman, where is the world? The world is not there. Agaji gadalechi nahi tyachi varta pusashi kahi. Why are you asking me something which has never happened? That is what Saint Ramdas says. With this background, we can start with the Adhyasa Bhashyam from the next session. Hari Om. Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji. We'll just wait if someone has some clarifications.
Hari Om, Sanjay
Hari
ji.
Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. In nutshell, we can say this is Acharya is trying to remove all these old wrong memories. It is a type of re-engineering of our old wrong perceptions. That is what he is trying to do through his work, particularly Brahma Sutra. That is one. So it is more difficult to put new thing. I mean, it is more difficult to remove the old memories other than putting a new one. Putting a new, teaching something new is an easy thing, but removing something long existing, which is a wrong thing, is more difficult. That is the reason perhaps this much details he is trying to describe. That is one question. One more question is there. I was thinking last night about Acharya Bhagavad Padar. He has done a lot of works. Amazingly, one cannot even, imagine that much quantity of intelligent work he has done. He has written, Bhashya to the Upanishads, written Brahma Sutra, and written Bhashya to Bhagavad Gita, and established these four famous mutt, assigned his four Sishyas to look after four directions of Bharat. He has done a lot of work. He has conquered, he has defeated many acharyas in the debates and all. But he was living in 8th century. But what was yesterday, what I was thinking, that despite doing all this work, the menace of jati, I mean, the caste system existed during his time. He didn't care about it. I was wondering why such a social evil was not cared by Acharya. This is my another question.
Hari Om. Regarding the first one, when we talk about removing old memories or creating right perception, Acharya is trying to emphasize that even the perception itself is a Vyavaharika Satta thing. In Paramarthik Satta, you being the only one and the Brahma, there is no question of Dvitiya. Because you are in Advaita, you being the only one, Ekameva Advitiya, since there is no question of any type of interaction possible, perception is not possible, pramanas are not possible, jnanam is not possible to get the jnanam, because you are jnanamaya, shuddha, ananta, nitya. So that is why the Acharya is trying to say that anything that is created through Dvaita is bound to be mithya, even including the gods and the Vedas. So that is one part of it. And second part of it is, Acharya has always been hovering between the Paramarthik Satta and the Vyavaharik Satta. His majority of the work is related to Paramarthik Satta. And he himself being a sannyasi in an Paramarthik Satta, where identification of you as a body also doesn't matter. So the question of jati and social evils appears only when you think of yourself as body. Acharya's focus of entire philosophy on Ati Varnashrami. So he has not even commented much on the Varnas except the utility of it in general manner. His entire focus was on Paramarthika Satta. Now, reconciliation between Paramarthik and the Vyavaharika Satta is done by few saints. For example, Narayan Guru Maharaj gave more importance to Vyavaharika Satta for the sake of welfare of the Vyavaharika Satta constituent people, while Acharya was more concerned with the people who are ascending the path of Jnanavan. So it depends on which teacher is concentrating on which students. Acharya's focus was only for the final ascent. Those students, he has focused more on that. While others sent, there is no difference between the work of these people. All of them were realized. The focus of work. Tapovan Maharaj did not do anything in the sense of Loka Kalyan the way Gurudeva did. There was only a difference in the focus of the work. In fact, Tapovan Maharaj did not write a letter because he thought that is again coming back into Vyavaharik Satta. While Gurudeva thought, let me take a plunge in Vyavaharika Satta and let me help everyone, so that here also people require the help when they are getting drowned in the river. So some people work for that. People also require help when they are trying to go to the final ascent. So Shankaracharya's focus is on the fundamental creation of clarity of all the scriptures, so that those who intend to take a final plunge can get some guidance. Hari Om.